Today in news. There is many weight loss program in line, but according to the public opinion poll in 2016, the weight loss program provided by egimport.com ranked first and most effective system to lose weight fast and easy. Many doctors praised the program effectively. Also, too many of those who tried the program, they said was more effectiveness of the program has changed their lives. You too can learn more about the program. Just go on egimport.com and try it. Now we will watch one of weight loss advices. Remember best weight loss program in egimport.com. Just when you've finally got a handle on counting calories, you hear about the glycemic index, a ranking of foods according to their impact on blood sugar, glucose. Don't stress, the glycemic index is a tool that works with counting calories to help you lose weight and eat better. While the glycemic index is close to 30 years old, research into the relationship between the glycemic index of foods and health is just beginning. Preliminary results suggest that eating foods low on the glycemic index seems to improve outcomes for people with diabetes, heart disease, and obesity, and may help prevent some types of cancer. Defining the glycemic index. The glycemic index is a ranking of carbohydrate foods, of how they affect blood glucose levels, explains researcher James M. Shikany, Associate Professor of Medicine in the Division of Preventive Medicine at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Dr. Shikany has focused his research on the glycemic index and another measure, the glycemic load, comparing several popular diets to determine their relative glycemic index and glycemic load levels. The most recent glycemic index tables were published in the January 2009 issue of Diabetes Care and are available in table form. In order to find out where on the glycemic index a specific food is, researchers compare the body's blood sugar response 2 hours after eating the food in question with the body's response to either 50 grams of sugar or 50 grams of white bread. Both results are reflected in the current tables. The comparison point is set at 100, so the further away a food's number is from 100, the lower it is on the glycemic index. Low glycemic index foods are those that result in a sustained but low blood sugar increase, while high glycemic index foods cause blood sugar to rise more quickly. However, the glycemic index doesn't tell the whole story, says Shikany. Certain foods, such as carrots, have high glycemic index scores, but you would have to eat a lot of them to have your blood sugar affected. In order to accommodate this factor, researchers developed the glycemic load measure, which reflects the actual amount of carbohydrates in a serving of food. That gets rid of that concern of calling a food good or bad based on the glycemic index value alone. Carrots have a high glycemic index value and a low glycemic load, whereas a potato is both high glycemic index and high glycemic load, explains Shikany. Counting calories and the glycemic index. If you're counting calories, you may wonder how this new index will affect your diet. In some ways, says Shikany, using the glycemic index and glycemic load numbers to choose foods will help you lose weight. Basically, you should do a dietary assessment, which is easy if you've been keeping a detailed food journal, and pick out which foods you can replace with choices that are lower both on the glycemic index and the glycemic load. This will have two benefits for you in terms of calories. Low fat, low glycemic index foods are often lower in calories per serving. Lower glycemic index foods are also more likely to keep you feeling full longer, so you eat less. The biggest contributors to glycemic load, GL, tend to be breads, potatoes, and cereals. You can look at the tables and switch to a lower GL choice, or you can make substitutions, for example switch to beans or barley from potatoes. With a lower glycemic index and glycemic load meal you get greater satiety. The receptors in the gastrointestinal tract are stimulated longer because it takes longer to absorb lower glycemic index foods. That means lower food intake at that meal and possibly the next one as well, says Shikany. Some low glycemic index foods that can be helpful for weight loss are fruits, vegetables, and low-fat meat and dairy. Popular diets and the glycemic index. Popular diet programs such as the South Beach diet, a low to moderate carbohydrate diet, and Sugar Busters. A low carbohydrate diet, recommend using the glycemic index to help you pick the best carbohydrates to eat. Shikany recently led a research study that compared these two diets with the Ornish diet, a low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet, and the Eat Right diet, a moderate-fat, moderate-carbohydrate plan developed at the University of Alabama, and found, perhaps not surprisingly, that the two popular carb-controlled diets had the lowest glycemic load totals, based on the menus recommended in the diets books. Other diets that include the glycemic index are the Nutrisystem diet, the New Glucose Revolution by Jenny Brown Miller, the GI diet by Rick Gallup, and the American Diabetes Association diet. Once you familiarize yourself with the glycemic index and its companion, the glycemic load, you will have another tool for weight loss success.